Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to Civic Space TV, Women at the Frontline, Women Rise program, where we bring to you women leaders and speaking about their journeys of leadership, journeys of life. And today I'm delighted to be hosting a very popular political actor, political leader here in the city of Kampala, Uganda. And her name is Nyanjura, Doreen Nyanjura, the Deputy Mayor of Kampala here. And of course, her life in politics and what we can pick, especially for those of us interested in joining the political arena. Honorable, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
I am super excited and very delighted and honored to be hosting you. And of course, thank you so much for taking off your time and in the busy schedule of the day to be here.
It's always a pleasure being here. And the work that Civic Space is doing cannot be taken for granted. For us as leaders, every platform that is granted to us is very important, very crucial.
And I can assure you, you will be, you feel enriched by sharing the story. You will not be disappointed because I know somebody out there will pick up your story, pick a few lessons from there and inspire their life as well and charge their lives in the various leadership journey that they may be in. So would like just to have a conversation, one-on-one chat because many of us see you, Nyanjura, from a very far distance, probably on cameras or during the course of your work. Personally, I think I've met with you on a few occasions in women-related activities. And I think that there could be somebody who wants to know you at a more personal level and pick a few things because you are such an inspiring young politician.
Well, I'm here to give my story.
So I'd like to hear that story, just to flash back a little from ground zero, this Nyanjura, because we all know you in the political arena. But there are those small moments of life which make or break somebody, and those are the most important, and they shape your journey. That's where we want to start from. How did it all begin and up to where you are right now? Yeah.
Well, I'm still work in progress.
Of course.
Yes, I'm still work in progress.
Of course.
My leadership journey has not just started. I've been a leader almost all my life.
Almost all your life.
Almost all my life. Ever since I stepped in class. I remember even when I stepped in nursery, I was elected a class monitor.
Wow.
And so really for me, that has always been my journey.
Yeah.
Until I think when I reached around P5. And I remember I was contesting against a girl who was much smaller than me.
In size?
In size. And by the way, in primary, class monitors, even in secondary, class monitors, prefects are very powerful.
Of course.
Yes, you even had to punish those who came late.
Of course.
You could even cane people. So I was contesting against that girl. I think it was to be, we are competing to be head of infants. And they turned against me.
What?
Because I was much taller. And they're like, we need to get this other girl who is smaller in size. Most likely she'll not beat us. She'll not cane us and she'll be lenient. She's as small as us. So that is an election that I lost. And honestly speaking, it was unfair.
Yeah.
Yes, they didn't look at my competencies. They didn't look at any other thing. They simply looked at size. But being that the school knew my leadership credentials, I was eventually appointed by the school to be the timekeeper. The timekeepers were initially appointed by the school administration because they knew that I was a timekeeper. They knew I was somehow perfect, always on time. And I was
smart.
Yes, and of course smart. So I was granted to be a timekeeper. So you see, that takes us to what it means to be a leader in this country. In primary, I was told my size was I was taller, and then they preferred someone who was smaller in size. And I think this has followed me because I remember even when I went to Masharuka Girls School, and I was contesting to be the chairperson school council. My opponent, who is actually my friend
right now,
she works with the Daily Monitor, and once in a while when I have my articles, she publishes them.
Right.
So I was competing against her. And her campaign team was saying no hips, no votes.
What?
You know, people concentrating on
the
futures,
physical
people
attributes.
concentrating on physical attributes and not necessarily what someone stands for.
Wow.
Well, but fortunately, I was able to win that election, and it didn't go well with her. I don't know if that is what inspired her to even change school and look for another school. So for me, it has always been leadership.
The point you make there is very interesting for women politicians, because usually the public takes note of the physical attributes of women. If you don't look nice, and you know, your posters, 20% of your vote comes from the looks, you know, generally.
I don't know about the statistics,
it does.
but I know that people who have told me, wow, we looked at your poster and you looked beautiful. We love your smile, you know.
Because there's always this voter that goes to the line and is not sure who to vote. We just look out for the one who has a beautiful picture generally.
Yeah, so there are those who do that. And that is why I think not only the females, but even males, they take a lot of time in making sure that they have
a perfect picture.
A perfect, very perfect picture.
But this far, Honorable Nyanjura, your story talks to the fact that leadership is a calling. And from that point of your life, you started leading at a very early age. Sometimes people think that leadership, you know, just happens by accident. Of course, there are those leaders who are born, but there are those who are nurtured. For those who are born, you can easily see those attributes from the very beginning. But we don't want people to think that a leader cannot also be nurtured in their journey. And that's why we are doing this space mentoring here and there to encourage others as well.
And you see, that is where I started from. I said that I am still in work. I'm still work in progress. Because as a leader, you keep transforming, you keep changing, so you keep correcting, because you keep meeting other people that inspire you, and you get to understand how exactly they lived their lives. You get to know that you don't have to come from a certain maybe family background in order for you to qualify to be a leader. And mine is really to tell people who are watching this show that you do not need to come from a rich family for you to be a leader. Actually, for me, most of the leaders that I have read about, they come from very humble backgrounds.
Very humble
Nelson
backgrounds.
Mandela, Abraham Lincoln, name the majority of them. You find they come from Obama himself. You find that they come from very humble backgrounds. So you don't have to be from
a very rich
family
background.
So I come from a humble background. My mother actually is a school dropout. I think she must have probably dropped out in school in P5. My father is educated. For him, he's a retired secondary school teacher. But I mean, that should not be a limitation for you to say, no, since I do not come from such family, such a wealth family, then I cannot be in leadership. So leadership is also not for those that have gone to Harvard, for those that have gone to universities. No, I think leadership, you can offer leadership.
You can offer leadership.
Even when you do not have a title, by the way. You do not need a title for you to offer leadership. You do not need a title for you to lead others. And we have seen people who have transformed our nation. We have seen people who have made several contributions when they do not hold any title. So you don't wait for you to get a title to say that to say that before you get a title, then I'll not lead. No.
Okay, that so leadership is about solutions, providing
leadership is about solutions. And I can give you an example. In Makere, I served as the guild vice president. But when I finished university, I didn't have any titles. You know, I didn't have any titles. Just I was an activist
at that time.
You know, yes, but everyone knew that, you know, Nyanjura was there as a leader. We formed an association fighting for the unemployed, National Association of the Unemployed, and we rallied people, and we were there. When I joined Makere University, I came from secondary school, and everyone knew me as the FDC preacher.
What? Actually, you started in secondary?
Yes.
Wow.
Actually, I started way back in 2001. I was in P6. And
do you by chance come from the Rukunjiri, the mighty district, or no? I have a personal reason why I'm asking
No.
that.
For me, I come from Toro. I come from Toro. So
wow.
I remember that time everyone in Toro was singing, we want Museveni,
NRM,
we want Museveni, we want NRM. And my dad had sent me to a shop. Then I saw a photo of Dr. Chiza Besije. And this is someone, people are not really talking about him. So I was interested in knowing who this man was. I was moving with my cousin. I told her, you know what, go and look for a ladder for me. I'll keep waiting here so that no one takes off this poster. So my cousin came, brought a ladder, and we, you know, carried
the picture from down, there.
Took it home and pinned it in our sitting room. So my dad by then was working at Nyakasura school. He comes back home and he asks, who brought this picture? Who brought this one? Where did it come from? So for me, I told him, I've found this photo. I've not had so many people talk about this man. And it's my father actually who told me that it's a crime for you to pull down somebody's poster. Yeah. So for me, my journey of supporting FDC and supporting Dr. Chiza Besigye started then. And from that point, I started picking a lot of interest. But you were so young then and innocent. So what inspired you from Chiza Besigye? For me, that's why I think the background where one comes from, I was quite informed. My dad every day, I don't know why, maybe he knows his reasons, but he used to read Daily Monitor. So we used to read Daily Monitor. We used to read, and therefore somehow I used to keep myself informed. So that is how I started my journey. And I remember in senior, I think I must have been in senior 4. That was the second time that Dr. Besigye was running, this time as an FDC candidate. Wow. And there was this builder who was putting on an FDC shirt with Besigye's photo. Imagine I was in a girls' school and I approached him. I told him, the only thing I want from you is that T-shirt. And you know, these are things that now I see some people doing even when they see other people putting on my T-shirt. The guy said, but now this is all I have. I didn't carry extra clothes. I told him, no, I can go in my room and get for you another. And try to get for you what to put on. Wow. So the guy told me, no, allow me come tomorrow. I'll bring the T-shirt for you. That builder brought the T-shirt. I remember it even had sweat on it, but it was the best gift. It was the best gift ever. So everyone knew me as the FDC supporter. Then when I reached A-level, that is when I started calling myself the FDC preacher. People think this is a name that I adopted when I reached campus, but no. So everyone knew me as FDC preacher. Both my blouse and skirt for school uniform, by that time they were marked on FDC. I was in Masharuka Girls School is in Bushenyi. So everyone in school knew me as the FDC preacher. I was not preaching this other gospel. For me, I was preaching the gospel of change. Wow. Yes, so, and I used to have lots of debates. I was really interested in knowing what was happening. So I reached Makerere University with lots of expectations. I used to hear of Gerard Karuhanga. So I couldn't wait to join Makerere University. I reached Makerere University and I found FDC was not active by the way. In Makerere? By then. And the cause was, we had FDC primaries and Ariko, I think it was called Ariho. Businje Ariho. And there was another lady called Husna. They had primaries and they didn't agree. Ariho felt that he was the right person to carry the FDC flag. So both of them went in the election and the party somehow in Makerere University, you know, it was divided. So I was like, what do I do? I came with all the energy. That is year 1. Yes. Wow. So what I did, I moved around. First of all, I started with my class, tourism class. Started registering whoever was supporting FDC. I moved around all the first years, but then we were still under faculty of arts. Wow. And we assembled as first years. I didn't have a title, I was just a fresher. So I gathered all the first years and we elected leaders. We got, amongst ourselves, for me I was voted to be the vice chairperson of Makerere FDC chapter. And we were all first years. So then, now these elders who are at campus, now they resurrected and they started saying, but who are these people? We don't even know them. We hear now there's an FDC executive in Makerere University. Yeah. So they come to meet us. And you know, I just told them, for us, we are first years. We very much love FDC. We have been looking for FDC in Makerere University. And we don't see it, but we are not interested in positions. If you want us to come and elect new leaders, we can do that. So we can do that. So they came. And they voted. But most of us, the first years, Yeah, most of us came back. And yes, so I became very active. I participated in all the national demonstrations. I participated in all the demonstrations at Makara University. And I remember my first year, when we finished the guild campaigns, but then FDC had Tayewa Oteran. He was assigned to the former MP, Odo Tayewa. And I was very active. I was very active. Unfortunately, we didn't win the election. So at the end of the year, I kept receiving phone calls. People saying, oh, Nyanjura, we are going to miss you.
Sorry.
We don't know how we are going to manage the next election without you. And I told them, guys, relax. I'm just in first year. Because I was so active in those campaigns, they never imagined that a first year
could contest and win an election.
No, they didn't, because first years, but then we are not contesting. So they never imagined that our first year could move around, mobilizing for the FDC candidate, Tayewa Oteran, doing ABCD. They thought I was in my final year. So I told them, no, relax. I'm just in my first year, and I am going to be here. And the next election, FDC will have a candidate. And we shall win that election. So that is how the Honorable Onekalit Dennis Amere won the election. And FDC had delivered a candidate. And I became his and I became his deputy. And I think we're really very active. And we made some bit of impact. And you know, there's this perception of people thinking that if you go on the streets, if you're always demonstrating, then you're a hooligan. Then you're stupid, you know. And you know, this goes back to the kind of people that we have in this country. People don't take time to read. People don't take time to appreciate those they call their mentors. You'll find someone praising Gandhi. You'll find someone praising Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, but they don't know. They don't know their foundation. They don't know the kind of activities that they used to participate in, because these are the same activities that we do. But for us here, there's that tendency of saying so and so is a hooligan. She's too much. So to prove them wrong, in my final year, together with my friend Baga Ibra, we decided to write a book.
You are an author of a book as well. Just hold it there. I'll come back to that particular area of your life. But we are still on that journey. And something that is intriguing me is you've always loved FDC, actually, from from your earliest life, stages. And in my mind, I'm like, what did she see in FDC? Or why the choice to do her political, leadership in FDC as a party?
Well, I've already explained my background. For me, at first, it was never really FDC, because the first time I saw Dr. Chiza Besje's poster and I got a ladder to bring it down, Besje was never FDC.
At that time?
No, he was never.
He was still in the
yes, but then we never had political parties
at that time.
But I mean, I was attracted because this is someone that people were, most radio stations in Fort Portal where I was staying, they were not talking about him. So I was intrigued in knowing this person. For me, I felt he was somehow unique, and somehow I love uniqueness.
You do.
I am not someone who is carried away by the crowd, because everyone is singing yellow, red, green, then I also have to go, no.
That's very
so
unique.
I took interest in Besje specifically, and I started following him. We all have people who inspire us.
Yes.
So for me, I was inspired by him to join FDC.
Wow.
And eventually, when I joined FDC, of course, I have all the reasons to love FDC. Because if you look at the other, it's a democratic party. This is a party where we have elections, where people compete. We do not ring fence positions, You will not say, for me, I'm Besje, I'm so powerful. Therefore, no one will come and contest against me. No.
Wow.
So, and we have had change in leadership. We have changed our presidents, Even when someone disagrees with the results, we tell them that is democracy. We held an election that is peaceful. We have held an election that is transparent. So, yes.
Wow.
That is granted. And I think they also so much believe in promoting and empowering women.
Yes.
Yes. And that's why you see some of us. You might be young in age, but we are there.
Very big and important in the party.
We had a very We had, first of all, Alice Alaso. She was our Secretary General. You remember how powerful
Very
she
powerful
was.
indeed.
We had Ingrid Turinawe as our mobilizer. Very active.
Very powerful
We have now Adeke Ann as our president.
Very powerful as well.
Yes, she's there, very active.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you know, they give you that space. And I think that is what we advocate for. Actually, our constitution talks about 40% women representation. That is why even when I was young, I just finished campus, I was competing with, I think, with around 5 men.
You need to shape for us that journey around university, because that is when your name really captured the country at that level. How has it been for you? How was it rather, coming up from Makerere University to where you are right now?
Now, I would
Lord
like
Mayor.
to tell those that are watching this show that it's a journey.
It's
a process. By the time that I came up and, you know, the name Nyanjura was circulating, I was already there, doing a lot of things, mobilizing, demonstrating, doing what. I remember at some point we even carried a potty to Omara. I don't know if that can, can be retrieved. And, you know, I was in my room, and at 3 a.m. at Complex, someone came knocking on my door. So I actually thought it was my neighbor, because halls in Makerere University close at midnight.
Yeah.
So I opened the door and I find police.
Huh?
And I asked that man, who by then was our OC, he was called Caesar, and I asked him, when I was just there in my night dress, you know, free in my room, he tells me, the IGP wants to talk to you.
At 3 in the night?
At 3 a.m. in the night.
That is unheard of.
And I said, okay, sir, what is it? I told him I cannot talk to Kaihura because now it's 3 a.m. What does he want? So they had learned that we are mobilizing students to go to Dr. Chizabesigye's place and protest because his house arrests have not started now. They were there, and that was around 2011, 2012. And when Caesar left, the policeman who had come with the other team, I now didn't sleep. I had now to mobilize afresh and tell students the place you had planned to go, they have known it. So let's now go and look for another place. Wow. So I was there. But eventually, when I authored that book with Bagaya, and we went to launch it at City Square, and that also had its implication. Why did we go to Constitutional Square? Because we felt as citizens of this country, our constitutional rights are being abused. So that is the time everyone was interested in, who are these students?
Yes.
Who is this Kagal? When I was very tiny, I was only weighing 50 kgs. Who is this Kagal? Putting on a blue overall, she's putting on a helmet.
So the overalls didn't start recently? It was
actually, we are the ones who launched the overall. And I can tell you why. Because by then, we used to hear a lot of stories about the van. 2011, 2012, that is when they had introduced the blue van. Actually, it's a drone. But then we used to call it a van. We used to call it a torture van. So people said, when you go in that van, you're raped.
You're raped.
So I was like, my God, what do we do?
God forbid.
So now we sit with my team and plan. There was Unstoppable, I think you know him, to Shave. That is the group. They said, you know, now if you're going for the launch, there was Sherina Moses, you have to put on an overall. So it was meant to protect me, the lady, so that I am not raped. So they said inside, make sure you put on a jean. I don't know how many jeans they put on. And then on top, put on an overall. So for me, I went prepared. I'm like, if these guys are planning to arrest me and they rape me in that torture van of theirs, I am prepared for them. Wow. So that is why we decided to come up with that dressing code. And of course, we knew that usually they target the face or the head. And of course, so we said, let's also protect the head.
Wow.
So that is the whole intention why we did that. And of course, when you're an activist, you go through training. Some of these things you learn them. For example, I used to have very nice, long, beautiful hair.
You had to cut it.
And one time I was arrested and my hair was pulled.
Yes.
And I said, okay, I love looking beautiful. I love my long hair, but I love the struggle and my country more. So I decided to cut off my hair.
Sacrifices you
this
make.
Thing where you find very long earrings, you know, they will arrest you and
then they pull
they pull. So they said, no, you have to put on pins. So when when you are an activist, and especially a woman, there are many things that you prepare for. You find for us as women, if you're an activist, every time you're moving and you have a dress, you have to have a baker inside. So everything changes. You'll find you'll not put on high heels. Whether it's now that I am learning these things of putting on high heels. But if again the shoe is so high, I'll not even manage to not work with it. So you have to always be prepared. And you'll find every time you're moving as an activist, especially an opposition activist in this country, you have to move with an extra snack. You have to move maybe with a kalesu because you do not know where you'll end. And we have had circumstances where you're comfortably seated, you're at home, and you see drones. And they tell you you're mobilizing people to demonstrate. They tell you, oh, we suspect, you know. So these things happen. And as activists, we are trained
such a life,
to always be prepared. Because when you're picked, you don't know where you'll end. Most of the times when you're picked, they deny you visitors. Most of the times if you're picked from Kampala, who knows, you'll end up in Moroto or something like that. So you have to always be prepared, and that is the sacrifice that we make for being in the opposition.
So many sacrifices, being prepared all the time, and you know, the sacrifice for the revolution or the battles that you are engaged in it takes a toll as well. I'd like you to maybe later on share those kind of things, but I'm just trying to trace your journey this far, and I think I'm at a point where now you are at
Makerere University.
You're done actually with
Then
Makerere
I am
University.
done because I wanted to tell people being an activist, going on the streets to demonstrate, does not mean that we are stupid. That is when we authored that book. Yes, then that was my bye-bye now to Makerere University. I was waiting for my graduation. Yes.
Okay, so how many times have you been there representing Makerere University at City Council?
Well, this is my second term.
Your second term.
Yes, this is my second term. Yes.
And in your second term, you got the honor to be, you know, given the opportunity to serve as a Deputy Lord Mayor.
Yes, I was actually appointed as Deputy Lord Mayor in my first term. Towards the end, my predecessor decided to go for greener pastures.
Abandon the job.
My predecessor decided to go for greener pastures, You know, when you're out there doing mobilizing, fighting for change, at times you're not prepared for what is going to follow. So I really never planned that I was going to be the Deputy Lord Mayor. No. Because
I can tell you we celebrated as the women's movement. You said that young woman is, you know.
Yes.
Something else.
Yes. And you know, being young, being unmarried, that one also comes with its own challenges. But I am happy that the Lord Mayor, even the councillors, decided to put all that aside.
So were there some other gender issues that were talked about during that appointment?
Well, they were, but not that much pronounced. And I think even now, people still say, when are you getting married? Oh, what's that? Oh, no. You're trying a big position. And for me, these things are really very unfortunate. They are really very unfortunate.
In our country.
And they have somehow deliberately decided not to get married for now. To show people that you do not have to be married for you to transform your country, for you to be a leader. I don't know if you've read about the president of Liberia, the former president, Johnson.
Salif.
Yes, by the way, she was never married, you know. Salif got married at 17 years.
And divorced.
She divorced.
But she became president.
Actually, she dropped out of school, but she went back, studied, and she became president. So for me, those yardsticks that they selectively want to use against women, it is wrong. You know why you find women have to be forced to go and hire men so that when they are going for campaigns, they have to show that I am married.
I can see you're a disruptor all your life in everything. You challenge systems.
They will not.
You disrupt systems generally.
You know, they will not ask them. The man will not be over asked about those things.
No, not at all.
They will not. They will not tell the man that you're so young. But for you, when you go and you are a lady, they will tell you, you're so young.
So young.
And this also happened in these elections that have just ended. I remember my opponent, the NRM flag bearer, was telling people that, you see, Nyanjura is not responsible because she's not married. And I said, guys, how can this woman say I'm not responsible When I look after myself, I pay fees for so many people. I do not depend on any man unlike her, you know, because she was a housewife.
Yeah.
Yes, there's nothing that she does. How can she tell you that she's more responsible than me, who takes care of myself? So really, that yardstick of telling women and girls that because you're not married, you cannot manage.
I like this.
It is wrong and it must be condemned, and we must fight it. For me, I have decided to take lead. It's not that we don't want families. We love families.
We love families
but I mean, don't make us rush. This is why we are seeing marriages. You know, someone mobilizes you, you contribute, and after 1 month,
the marriage is gone.
The marriage is gone. Please, let us take our time. Let us take our time, you know. Stop putting us on pressure.
Those are the pressures.
Because for me, that is not the most immediate need that this country needs, you know.
Yes.
We are talking about mothers dying every day because they
can't get medication.
Because they cannot get medication. They go in the health center. They don't have gloves.
Yes.
We are talking about youth unemployment. We are talking about Ugandans of recent. Many border raiders are committing suicide. We are talking about the bad economy.
So many
we are
things.
talking about the lack of democracy. Please stop concentrating on non-issues. Yes, they should stop concentrating on non-issues.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I like your talk, and this is what we want to tell women, that these things, you know, everything that limits us in advancing our dreams and visions.
And this goes to the parents. And this goes to the parents. You know, even when they're raising a girl child, they'll tell you, as a girl, you're not supposed to shout. As a girl, you're supposed to walk very slowly. As a girl, you're not supposed to do this, you know. So the way we are raising up our children, and especially the girls, the problem is originating from us, the parents. We are telling the girls, don't. And we are telling the men, you can shout. You can walk fast. You can explore. You get it. So it's us, the parents. It's the society, you know, that is trying to restrict the ladies. And we need to change that. Tell your girl, please, go and talk. Stop telling them
that village meeting.
Yes, don't tell them, omwalo ina kuogera mpola. Omwalo ina kutambula mpola. Next time ogenda muita while even in a meeting, and the girl cannot even talk. You know, instead of running, maybe there's a demonstration or there's an activity, she's there as if she's crawling. My friend, this world you have to compete. Women, we have to fight for space, and I think it's high time we change that narrative. Let's stop restricting women. Let's not limiting them. And for me, what actually annoys me most is that women are also the biggest promoters of these tendencies.
You're right.
You know, they'll tell you, why are you doing this?
Nyanjura,
you get it, guys. Please let us stop concentrating on non-issues.
On non-issues.
Yes.
Of course, Doreen, your worship, you've come a long way, and now you are at KCCA at the City Council. One of the most powerful places to be in terms of leadership in the country. It's been a journey as you've narrated it. But I just want to capture some of the things that you're proud of this far in terms of the works that you have done, that you can confidently speak about and say, I changed society in this way, I have contributed in this way. Just 1 or 2 or 3 things.
Currently, by the way, for me, there are 3 areas that I intend to concentrate on. One, I look at, of course, me being a woman, I look at women, and usually I meet women and I listen to their challenges and I advise them on how to handle some of those challenges. I also so much value education because my father has educated me this far. My father being a teacher, there's a way he valued education.
Yes.
You would find so many kids at home, and my father used to pay school fees for them. So there are also so many kids that are especially for single mothers.
You support.
And that I support.
Wow.
And I think partly that is why when I went back to Makerere University, there are people who are like, she's been there for us and she has supported us. And number 2, there's another category that I recognized. Yes, women are discriminated, but women with disabilities,
right,
I think they face multiple layers of discrimination.
Yes.
And I've taken it upon myself to even do a study in assessing the challenges they face as they attempt to give birth. And my friend, there are multiple. They tell you there are challenges, so I've also extended my hand to them.
Wow.
And I've also tried to identify individuals that can help them. So once in a while, I also give a hand, because I feel there are things that we need to change. First of all, they'll tell you when they go to hospitals to give birth,
they are turned away.
They are turned away. I talked to 6 of them, and like we reached the hospitals, and no one was ready to attend to us. Everyone was just looking at us, and we lost our pregnancies.
Just like
then,
that.
Yes. And there are those who told me I reached in the hospital, and the health workers, instead of attending to me, they said, Linya katanda, kalinye. No, it's very long. You know, this lady doesn't, you know, she moves, she crawls basically. And then they told her, when you're going to make love, ngawa linya katanda, linya. So, you know, they tell you the challenges that they go through. They tell you how their men don't want to even be seen with them.
Identified.
How they only come at night when no one can see them, and then they leave very early in the morning. So they go through a lot. And that is another group that I have really tried to identify myself with. And I am happy that there are some groups like FIDA. After seeing what I had communicated, they reached out to me. And then we also have special needs children.
Special needs.
Yes, I identified one home. It's based in Machi, India, and it was taken up by Plan International. I think Plan International is headed by Daniel Tulibagenyi. She used to be very active here, and they have taken up those kids, and they are trying to offer support. So at least I can say that is a journey I am proud of, and that is a journey that I am going to continue on. Number 4, of course, I also, you know, at times I get overwhelmed. You know, you're there and someone says, you inspire us. We look up to you. Please continue fighting. So for me, that is also a contribution, you know.
That is your contribution.
That in society, people are able to say that you inspire them. Because where we have come from as women, it has not been easy.
It hasn't been easy.
Yes, that there are women who up to now do not imagine that I am able to occupy this position. There are women who do not imagine that Nyanjura Doreen have refused to succumb to pressures, you know.
It's amazing.
That when you hit, on me, I hit back. You know, and I'm telling you, it goes back to training.
I follow your timeline.
People will say, no. Yeah. Now you're the deputy Lord Mayor. You're supposed to be quiet. Being a deputy Lord Mayor does not mean that you should step on me. No, I have to hit back. So there are people who get encouraged and inspired by that. And I am proud. And of course, the young people, you know, the young people. Given where I have come from, because this is not a struggle that I have started. There are people who, when they meet me physically, they don't believe it.
They don't.
They're like, wow, we thought you're so old, you know, because my name has been, because they're like, oh, we've been hearing about Nyanjura for some time. It's because I joined this struggle at a tender age. Yes, and therefore you get to see young people also saying, we can also do something. And that is why I don't agree with people saying, you're still young. Your time is coming. Guys, you go and watch the so-called Bush War liberation. There are kids of 5 years, kids of 4 years, 6 years.
They were in battlefront.
They were at the battlefront, carrying guns. So you cannot be in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 15s, and you start claiming that you're too young to be at the front line and make a contribution. That is nonsense. So please, young people all over the world, it is the young people that have caused change. It is the young people that have been at the front line. Please stop settling for less. Come out, let's take charge of this country.
Indeed, that's a very good point. But before we move forward, I am just thinking, I think in this journey of yours, there must have been people who have inspired you, who charge you every day, who energize. You've talked about Dr. Kebi. I am wondering if there are other, male, female. Yeah,
of course, I have quite a number of people. And most of the activities actually at the university, I did them with Mugumya Sam, Mujisha, Muijuche. And I mean, Francis. So yes. And we have been there. But Ingrid Turinawe, of course, most of the demonstrations, me and her were always together most of the times. But the person who really brought me very close is Anne Mujisha. Who, yes, because I remember by then I was at campus and still I was very active. And this is what I keep telling young people. Someone comes to you and says, please, take me to Dr. Chiza Besije. So and so. For me, I did not look for anyone.
They looked for you.
They all looked for me. First go and make impact, you know. First go and do something that will inspire people to come and look for you.
Yes.
So that is how Anne Mujisha looked out for me. Like, but who is this Kataine girl? Who is this Kataine girl? She's always there in demonstrations, you know. So this thing of, you know, I want to see Bestie, I want to see so
take
and
me
so,
to this person,
take me to so
give me a
please,
recommendation.
Stop concentrating on those things. Concentrate on making
yourself.
Impact.
And also on yourself.
Concentrate on making
better.
impact. And all these powerful people that you want to see
will come
and they will and they will look for you.
Wow.
And I have also told people that most of my mentors I have not met, by the way. I have not met them physically. I have never seen them. Some of them are long gone.
Wow.
I have met my mentors through reading.
Through reading about them.
I have met my mentors through reading about them.
Wow.
I can say, okay, this is what Winnie Mandela stood for. This is what Che Guevara stood for. Someone who even left his country, went to liberate another country. He used to suffer from asthma, but he was there in the thick of things, in coldness, you know, trying to liberate his country. So I try to understand these people. There's another woman, our grandmother to Tupac, you know. She was on the list, Shakur. She was on the list of the most wanted women in the whole world. Like, these people inspire me. You know, that she was arrested, imprisoned, and then the woman, just like that, escaped from prison. So these are the people that inspire me. Winnie Mandela, you know, that she was able to continue with the struggle, even when the husband was long gone. Yes, many people tend to credit the husband.
A lot, much
but for me, I
more
credit the woman. You know, because she sustained the name. She kept the name going.
Until
and all
Mandela
that.
came out.
Until Mandela came out. I don't want to go into what Mandela did. Of course, I don't agree with whatever he did. So we need to read so that we explore more beyond the surface of what we see. You know, you'll hear people talk about Wangari, you know, and you want to know, who is this woman? What did she go through? How did she mobilize, you know? And you find her stories are really very inspiring. Of course, she has also faced challenges that most women in leadership face. Of course, when she became so powerful, the husband became uncomfortable, and you know, she just came back from work and she found when the man had gone.
Just abandoned like
and
that.
The man even told her, Madam, you now have to abandon my name. And you know, that is why I've been having discussions around women taking up names that are not theirs. The man told her, I have divorced you. You also need to abandon my name.
Just like that.
And yet everyone now knew her as Mathai. And then, you know, she was constrained. She had to go and improve the name. Mathai, initially the husband's name, had a single A. So she had to add
an I.
A double A. So that she maintained the name that everyone was so proud of. So for me, most of my mentors I have not met physically. These are people that I have interacted with through reading.
You've read about them.
And of course, as women, we also need to be deliberate about the kind of books that we read.
We read, right?
Not the other day I was challenging people. You'll find a man or boys, even at campus, for them, they're concentrating on reading about leadership. They are reading about business. But what are the women reading? What are the girls at campus reading?
Blue moons. What are they called? That's
interesting. They are reading about love. They are reading about how to enlarge hips.
Those things.
You know those things. You get it. And for me, this is why somehow you
talk more about that.
Because even when you go on YouTube, most programs that are there for women, they're how to look beautiful,
please men,
how to please your husband. You know what I mean? Guys, ladies.
When men are learning about making money, how to dominate the world.
Exactly.
You know, how to conquer more territories.
Exactly. So for me, I don't have to go in a school. I do not have to go on YouTube. I don't have to read about love. For me, I believe love should be natural. Yes, and trust me, I can love hard and I can love better. Well, I don't have to first go and beat out, you know, that you have to do ABCD, you have to do this. So, as women, we also need to be deliberate on the kind of literature, the kind of books that we are reading.
That's
the
world is moving on.
Really. We are competing, by the way. It's no longer this business of where as a woman you're supposed to stay home and then you wait for the man to provide for you. My friend, I have seen even women who are formerly married to very powerful men, crying just after 2 months or 1 month when they lose their husbands. Government
Because they don't know where to start
you get it,
from.
because they're always home waiting for their husbands to provide. So even when you have a man that has money, please, as a woman, you also need to learn how to make money. As a woman, you also need to learn how to look after your children, just in case you lose your man, death, or just in case you're abandoned. So we need to be deliberate.
Deliberate. I mean, Your Worship, your journey is just scattered with nuggets of wisdom everywhere. At every point, I'm just learning a few things. There are very many. I cannot even say few. And at this point, actually, I'd wanted you to emphasize those nuggets of wisdom, but you've done all along the journey. So I'd just like to hear if there is any more, you know, something that you'd like to emphasize. Just like that point you've made mention right now, I know that many would benefit from that.
Which point?
The reading, what we take in, what we read as women is very critical. But you can add any other thing that you would have left out, and then we move on.
I have oftentimes told women that as women we really have had to fight for all the rights. There's no right that we got on a silver
platter.
There's no right that we got on a silver platter as women. We have had to fight. I don't know if you have heard about Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger in the 1916 there started a clinic, and she was offering contraceptives to women.
To women.
And she was arrested and charged and taken to prison, you know. And after 10 days she was released. She again opened up a hospital, and she was taken back
to prison.
And by then, even it was illegal, even for doctors talk about family planning.
Contraceptives.
But we now know currently that is a government program.
Yes.
And ladies, do you know what brings about that? It's because the people who passed that bill that was outlawing the use of contraceptives were men.
They were men only?
Yeah, they were men.
In that
of course, you are talking about the leadership.
Yes.
If you're to go now and look at the leadership that we have in parliament, what is the ratio of women
to men?
Women to men, you know? You'll find the men are still high up there.
Yeah.
Because when you go in our constituents, they tell you, wari for chabachala.
Genda muchabachala.
And that is why some of us have been pushing for 50-50 representation.
One man, I've been talking about that.
Yes,
all
one man, one woman. I think that will reduce the gap.
Yeah.
And that will reduce on these issues of where men have to legislate on our behalf on issues that are really important. But you find a man making fun, or you cannot be raped when you're married. You know, there are lots of things that they do, and it's because they are not informed. So if we want to transform our lives, if we want to transform the lives of women, women, we have to come up and occupy these positions. Because if we do not occupy these positions, then there is no way we are going to take decisions. There is no way we are going to create impact. So when there is an opportunity for you to come and lead, please come and lead. Do not be intimidated by these things of you're not married, you don't have money. Please come up and offer leadership. For me, that is very important. And of course, to the people of Kampala, we know the challenges that you're facing. We know that the floods are here, and that is something that we have talked about over time.
Right.
Sometimes when it rains, I don't even want people to know that I'm the one in the car. Because people come for answers, and at times you do not have answers.
Lord Mayor, tell us.
But really, the priorities of this government, unfortunately, they are not on issues that affect the ordinary people. Their priorities are on dying in power. Their priorities are on creating more constituencies. I hope you know that the number of parliament has been increasing. Even at City Hall, we got more councillors. But you know the money they spend on all that. That is money that can be used, you know, to work on floods.
And
that is money that can
services.
And other social services. That is money that can be used to buy drugs and they put in hospitals. So the people of Kampala, we as your political leaders, we know the challenges that you're facing, and we are going to continue fighting for them. Currently, they are fighting borders off the streets. We are saying that is wrong. You cannot merely fight people without giving them an alternative. The vendors, you are trying to come up with laws that are going to ensure that Kampala is not only being enjoyed by the untouchables. Kampala is both for the rich and the poor.
Mixed group. You have done so much in this 1 hour, and I can assure you that this is very inspirational. The nuggets of wisdom that you've, scattered across your discussion are so important and powerful. And I cannot even ask you for more, except to maybe wind up and try to reflect going forward in terms of the future. Do we expect more of Nyanjura? What else can we look forward to? Being the young political actor that you are, I don't expect that this is the end of your political journey. But thank you for helping me to speak about the message of increasing more women in these sectors.
Yeah,
this has been my
important
message here on a daily and weekly message here. We need more women. We need more women.
Yes, we need more women who are going to fight for women. We don't need women who are just going to be there and they are not doing anything. Yeah. Women who are just there to take orders. We need women who are going to fight for the rights of women.
Yeah.
We don't need women who will, be commanding, beat that woman and break her back. We all know that up to now, Honorable Nambos still has metals, and that sitting was presided over by a woman. So we need women who will feel for their fellow women. We do not need women who are going to be distributing 5,000. He's the Prime Minister, and I was really so disappointed. You're there distributing 5,000 to women so that they go and vote for a non-performer. No, we need women who are going to fight for the rights of women. We need women who are going to talk, not women who are going to vote for yes. And Museveni tells you, for me, as long as I have someone who can say yes, then we are good to go. Yes. And women, you need to pick interest, by the way, in understanding the challenges of women, because most women don't take time. There's a lot of patriarchy, and some of the women are also promoting it. Yeah. For me, if I had a way, I would force all the women in this country to go and study gender at Makerere University or any other institution.
Or even men, generally.
Because even men,
mainstreamed in all courses.
Mainstream, because there are many things that we do not know.
Wow.
There are many things that women do unconsciously. For them, they feel, no, that is the way things are supposed to be done.
Your worship, you have to say bye and we sign out. But do we see any, what does the future look like for you?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, for me, I've never aspired for positions. So don't wait for me to tell you that I am now waiting to be an MP. I am now waiting to be president. Okay. What you will see is Nyanjura the activist, and that is the brand that I have failed to kill, because I am a brand of the unemployed women. I am a brand of these women in markets. So what you should expect is continue seeing Nyanjura the activist. Not Nyanjura is going to tell you I want to be an MP, because I know even when I become an MP, there's not much impact that I am going to cause.
If you're not doing the
but for the activists, for me fighting for the rights of Ugandans, the rights of women, youths, the entire country, the downtrodden, there you're going to see me, and you'll continue seeing me.
Wow, you have done me well, my sister, junior or younger. Let me call you that, because I know you are in terms of age. But in other spaces, you might be having more than I have.
No, but you're among the people that have inspired us. It is very rare.
Yeah.
Because I was talking about people who betrayed our country. You being in yellow, I don't know if by then you're an independent, you stood your ground.
Yellow,
and you said, you people, it does not matter. This is not about yellow or blue. Yeah. What you're doing, going to change our constitution is wrong. And thank you so much. We look up to you. You have inspired us. And you're the people who have inspired us, by the way. So don't count yourself out, because every time we would see you fighting, we'd also say, yes, if she can do this,
then I can.
Then I can also do it.
Yeah, of course, on issues that are important to the country, there is no particular on that. And we must be able to agree.
And I hope the other people who are still in yellow can take up this message.
Absolutely.
Let them pick a leaf from you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we've been here with Honorable Her Worship Nyanjura Doreen, who has shared her life, and of course nuggets of wisdom here and there for women political actors, those who are aspiring to be leaders. And of course we expect more of her on this Civic Space TV on various aspects, but it's been nice speaking to her on various issues. Thank you for being here with us up till now. We look forward to seeing you on another program. Shalom.